Kyle Walker is a Manchester City player. Finally, we've got a fullback. We've got a right back. We've had no fullbacks now, unless you count Konov, and I don't do that personally, for what feels like an eternity now. But we finally have a right back, and in my opinion, the best right back in the league, which is nice. It really is comforting to say we'll go into this pre-season tour with one of our number one targets, if not our number one target, in the right back slot. And a man, obviously, who's familiar with the Premier League. A man who's going to provide all the guile and graft and dynamism we need down the right-hand side. So, yes, let's be happy. Sorry that this reaction video is a little bit late. I've been working today. I've been sat on this news though for ages. It's been killing me, hoping that it'd be confirmed, because I kept hearing little bits of information here and there. I've been excited about this transfer for a while. It's been kind of bubbling away under the surface, and finally we have our man. But I want to discuss a few talking points, a few things that have been levelled at him, a few criticisms, a few positives, and all that kind of stuff, and look at the transfer and what it means for Manchester City. I've got to start with a thing that's already been used to beat him, and that's obviously the 45 to 50 million pound fee. What I've heard is 45 million for one, with 5 million pounds in potential add-ons. It's a lot of money. I'm not going to pretend otherwise, but I think people, and I've had to set this myself, need to understand money isn't what it was even 12 months ago. It isn't what it was 24 months ago, never mind 5 years ago. The goalposts have moved, and they have moved big time. Footballers these days demand inordinate amounts of money, absolutely crazy amounts, never more so than in the Premier League, and never more so for an English player, a homegrown player, and one from one big club to another. Kyle Walker is just another player in this huge trend of spending big amounts of money. 10 million players now have become 30 million pound players. You look at the likes of Lukaku as well at United, 75 to probably 85, 90 million pounds there with add-ons, and that's from Everton of all people. Then you look at what Everton have spent as well. Pickford is now 30 million. Michael Keane is now 30 million. It's absolutely crazy. Then you look at people like Troy Deeney being valued at around 30 million. Is it any surprise that a player, Kyle Walker, who's vastly ahead of those kind of players in their development in terms of stature, full international, 27 years old, played in the Champions League, experience, all that kind of stuff, much more experience than Pickford and Keane. Is it any surprise that he's worth 45 million pounds? Now, yes, it is money. It's a lot of money. But Premier League clubs, they are rich. You've got Harry Maguire coming from Hull for 17 million pounds these days. It's just absolutely crazy. Do not treat the money in the Premier League as what it was. 30 million transfers for your likes of Aguero, those days are long gone. The likes of 40 odd million for Bernardo Silva, that'll seem an absolute bargain in 2 or 3 years' time, I guarantee you. We're going to see a 100 million pounds transfer. We haven't already. Very, very soon. We'll see players, 60 million players, 70 million players. This is going to become the norm, so don't worry about the fee. I'm not worried about it. City are happy with it, Spurs are happy with it, and you should be happy with it too, because it is what it is. We can afford it, and it means we've got someone like Kyle Walker. And what do we get for that money? We get a player who knows the Premier League. You cannot put a price on that. Well, you can apparently, but you get someone who knows the Premier League inside out. The amount of players you import from overseas that could have a little bit of a struggling period, could have a difficulty settling in, and that's understandable. For this, you get someone who knows it, who's played it, who also understands the system that we're going to play. Pochettino has drilled and improved him loads over the past 18 months. He's a much better defender. He's great on one-on-ones. He's much more tactically aware. His pressing, his pace, his positional sense has improved loads. He's not perfect, of course, but he is still improving with every single season. And I think he's earned this growing stature. I know it's not an exciting signing, but Walker brings something that we've been missing for a long time now, 2 or 3 seasons at very least, since Zabaleta lost his legs. He brings dynamism, and I can't explain enough how important that actually is. You got to look at the way City play in general, and the way we played last year. We saw Sane on the left and we saw Sterling on the right a lot of the times. You saw a left footer on the left, a right footer on the right. And the reason we did this, and we all know why, we all know how Guardiola usually plays with inverted wingers. The reason he did this is because our fullbacks simply didn't have the pace or energy to overlap. So this season, we're going to see lots of different tactics. We're going to see the likes of Sane, I'm sure, on the right cutting him, maybe Sterling on the left cutting him, because we'll have Mendy, hopefully, and Kyle Walker definitely overlapping down the outside to provide further attacking options. Fullbacks are a huge part of Guardiola's game, and we've been without that this season. We've had to make do with a bunch of players just kind of doing the job at fullback. We haven't had that attacking intent that we usually get from a Guardiola team. It's a massive part of how Guardiola sets up his teams, and that's why fullbacks are so important to this team. We've been handicapped without them. And Zabaleta, Sanya, Clichy, Kolarov, whatever, decent players in the day, and I love each of them at different levels, but they're just so far past it that is actually laughable. Walker isn't. He's in his prime, and we should be very excited about that. He isn't exciting, glamorous play. He isn't your Semedos. He isn't, I don't know, Dani Alves even. He's not glamorous because he's English and he's homegrown, but he is good. He's probably one of the top 5 fullbacks, right backs in world football at the moment. He's definitely, in my opinion, the most consistent right back in the Premier League. And he's definitely going to improve Manchester City a lot. I think he'll be here for a few years. I think we'll enjoy him, and I think we'll enjoy that pace and that ability to bomb forward and support the more technical players like Bernardo Silva and your De Bruyne's and so on. I think we should be excited by that. We've also got to consider that we've actually weakened a rival. Don't let some understandably hurt Spurs fans or people online tell you that Trippier is a better player than Walker. That is absolutely nonsense. Walker is a whole level above Kieran Trippier. Trippier's only played about 16 games or something like that in 2 years there. He's been very much the reserve, the bridesmaid to the bride of Kyle Walker. And it's rightfully so. He's just not as good a player. He's not as fitted for the system. He's good, don't get me wrong. But this whole backup thing, as in he got ahead of Walker towards the end of the season, that's nonsense. The only reason Walker was dropped out of the team is because he had a disagreement of some kind with Pochettino. Maybe it was about his future or that kind of stuff. But he was pretty unceremoniously dumped as soon as it became obvious that there were links to a City. Walker is a better player. As Spurs fans, most honest ones will tell you that. He's a better player. He's a better all-round person for this kind of system we're going to play. Trippier is good, but they have lost a player that definitely made them a stronger team, and we've got them. So it's always great to sign from a rival. Weakening a rival while strengthening your team is exactly what they want. Now Spurs have got to go sign someone now, or maybe persist with Trippier, who isn't as good in my opinion, or they've got to sign someone and take a bit of a gamble, and he probably won't be as good as Walker initially. I think that's probably a very fair presumption. So we should be happy about that. It's a tactical move, and it's one that I think benefits City a lot more than, in my opinion, it benefits Spurs. It's just nice to have a fullback that can play what we want. He's all very upsetting about the Alves thing, but Walker is a very good player. He's a man who's going to improve this team, though. We should be happy about this. I am personally happy. What do you think about this transfer? Let me know in the comments. I can't wait to see him probably play Spurs in pre-season as well. That'll be interesting to see how he gets on there. But I can't wait to see Mendy and Walker bombing down the wings next season. It's going to be great. It feels good that we are addressing all these weaknesses in our squad. We've signed a keeper now in Edison. We've signed a right back where we needed. We've also signed a potential David Silva replacement in Bernardo Silva. And we're also going to sign, and I think he'll definitely happen, Mendy. So it's looking like we're filling these gaps that we need to address. Well, in my opinion, our rivals haven't done that yet anywhere near as much. So it's looking like a very good summer. I know it seems frustrating watching all these rumours pop up, and you have to be patient, but we will get there. And it's going to be a very, very good season. I'm feeling very positive, and I think you all should too. Anyway, guys, hit that like button, subscribe, and all that kind of stuff. Share this video with someone you think who will enjoy it. I'm going to be doing loads more content and all that kind of stuff, and I will see you next time.